Howdy folks, I'm Astute Northern Asher, avidly analyzing ant antics.
I'm Amber.
And here are more ant antics for us to analyze, but it turns out that they just like to eat a lot. So stay out of their way, unless you have a picnic, because then they really want your picnic. But let's get started. I'm secretly working for the ants. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Letting My Daughter Stay Silent and Telling the Truth, Even Though It Made Things Messy with Our Neighbors? I'm a 36-year-old female, and I live in a pretty close neighborhood. You know the type: block parties, holiday decorations, lots of family group chats, and moms on Facebook who know everything. It's nice mostly, but it can feel intense. My daughter Emma, a 14-year-old, is quite artsy, kind of keeps to herself. Her best friend is Liam, 15, who lives in a house downtown. They've been close for a couple of years now. He's super sweet and shy, and I've always liked that they found each other. Well, a couple of weeks ago, someone spray painted the side of a wall at the community center at the park. Just a random thing, nothing awful, but it was definitely vandalism. It happened at night, and the footage from the security camera was grainy and dark. That didn't stop the neighborhood Facebook group from going full-on detective mode. Someone said that they recognized Liam's hoodie in the footage, and before anyone could even verify anything, the poor kid was getting blamed left and right. A few of the moms even said things like, he's always been off, or I wouldn't be surprised. It got bad. His mom was trying to defend him, but people weren't listening. Then Emma came to me crying and admitted that it was her. She said that it was supposed to be a dumb joke with a friend, but when she saw how quickly everyone turned on Liam, she felt sick. She didn't know how to fix it. So I told her that she had to tell the truth, and I told her that I would be right there with her. We went to the HOA meeting, and she stood up and owned it. She was scared out of her mind, but she apologized and explained everything. I offered to pay for the cleanup, and she's volunteering at a park this summer to make up for it. Liam's mom cried and thanked me. Emma said that she felt like she could finally breathe again. But now, a bunch of the neighborhood parents are mad at me, saying that I embarrassed my daughter and that I should have handled it quietly. Someone even told me that it didn't matter because people already think that Liam did it anyways. And now I just made things more dramatic. I get that people like to keep things polished in neighborhoods like this, but I wasn't about to let a kid take the fall for something that he didn't do, especially when it was my kid who did it. Am I the jerk for making my daughter take responsibility publicly, even if it upset the neighborhood moms? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. Opie, I think you nailed the parenting on this situation. Your daughter did something foolish, and someone else was catching the blame, and I think the important thing was that she owned up to what she did.
Yeah.
And I think this whole situation tells you a lot about your neighborhood and about how they're more interested in blaming certain people than getting to the bottom of what really happened.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate bit, is that it seems more like they wanted to blame Liam, and Liam was going to be the person that they blamed no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now that the evidence has come forward that it wasn't him, and they still want to blame him.
Well, they can't scapegoat him anymore.
Yeah.
That's why they're so mad, is he was there. They were going to use this to further scapegoat and ostracize him.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
No. So I think that OP is not in the wrong here for coming forward and telling the truth. The truth was an important thing to bring forward, and I commend them, and I commend the daughter for actually telling the truth, even though it was difficult and probably felt very awkward coming clean, you know. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Nick Cooley says, I'm a front office secretary at a middle school. I've done high school too, and I also have my own preteen. Not the jerk, those moms are terrible. Your daughter was uncomfortable, terrified, and she did it anyways. And then she felt better. She made a bad choice and owned up to it, and I would be very proud if she was mine. That wasn't an easy thing to do. That alone was the right choice. Kids need to know that they can be uncomfortable and do it anyways. It's outstanding how many haven't been taught that, and they are suffering for it. I've seen it in mass, the sort of kids that moms are raising. And I say this with fondness. I love my students and my job, but they aren't being done any favors in the long run. It's a lot easier to learn that actions have consequences when you're a child and surrounded by people who want to see you succeed, rather than as an adult where no one cares about you. You're doing fantastic. And OP replies, I really appreciate this, especially coming from someone who works with kids. You're right, better to learn hard lessons now with support than later when it's tougher. And Angel Blade 92 says, not the jerk. Staying silent would have meant allowing another kid to be blamed for something that he didn't do. Your daughter should hold her head up high for doing the right thing, and so should you. Those neighbors who were happy to let the quote weird kid take the fall really exposed their true natures. And OP replies, appreciate that. She knew that it wouldn't be easy, but letting someone else take the blame wasn't right. Proud mom moment for sure. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Daughter That My In-Laws Are Dumb? My wife and I have 3 kids. Our youngest, Emily, turned 6 last Saturday. We recently had to deal with an issue in Emily's school. Last year, a new student joined her class and started bullying her. He made fun of her, called her names, would steal her stuff, and hide it around the school. On 2 occasions, the bullying got physical. It took us a while to sort everything out because the boy's parents were a nightmare and nothing the school did worked. Finally, they threatened to expel him if he didn't leave our daughter alone, and his family finally got him to stop. He hasn't bothered Emily in months, and she is doing much better. Because of how much of an ordeal this ended up being, many of our friends and family members know what happened. Most were as frustrated as we were, but my wife's stepmother, Patty, thought that the whole thing was cute. Even after we told her everything that the boy did, she still insisted that he probably just liked Emily and didn't even know how to show it. For whatever reason, she's fixated on this. Every time the subject comes up, Patty says that she still thinks that we're being dramatic and that the boy deserves another chance. My father-in-law fluctuates between being angry at the school and agreeing that the boy was probably harmless. They never spoke about this near the kids, and my wife and I didn't really care what they thought anyways, so we never really worried much about it. We're throwing Emily a birthday party this Saturday. Because my father-in-law was busy, we all had dinner together at a place that Emily likes the day before her birthday. Near the end of the dinner, she started talking about her party, how excited she was, and which of her friends were coming. My father-in-law asked Emily if the bully was invited, and before anyone replied, he obviously wasn't, Patty added that it would be mean if she didn't invite him, because he liked her and it would be really sad. Emily looked at me and my wife, and I told her, don't worry, honey, Grandma and Grandpa are both very dumb. Don't listen to them. They looked shocked, but didn't try to argue. We had an awkward goodbye and went our separate ways. Father-in-law called me on Monday, and he apologized for what Patty had said, but told us that he expected me to apologize as well. He said that I crossed the line by insulting him and his wife in front of their grandchildren. My wife and I have been on the same page throughout all of this, but yesterday she told me that she was starting to wonder whether or not it would have been better just to deal with this privately, especially since we don't like insulting people in front of the kids. Am I the jerk? Edit, I brought this up in the comments, but I want to offer more context on what the bully did. It was mostly verbal. He created a few nicknames, kind of, not really, that sounded like Emily's real name and our last name. She once got brown paint on her clothes during art class, and he started calling her a pig. He laughed whenever she spoke in class. The teacher would always shut him down, but Emily is already a shy kid, and that didn't help. They also have weekly toy days at school, and Emily stopped bringing her toys because the boy kept stealing them or threatening to break them. He would also take her stuff, backpacks, school materials, and personal items and hide them. We managed to get all of those items back, and the closet that he got to damaged something that she owned, and it was a small rip in one of her stuffed animals that my wife was finally able to fix. As I mentioned, the bullying got physical twice. On the first occasion, he pushed her off a swing set. She scraped her knees, but wasn't hurt otherwise. The school reprimanded him, but didn't do much. A few weeks after that, he put gum in her hair during lunch. A teacher witnessed it and said that he grabbed her head and violently did it. That got him suspended, and the school threatened to expel him not long afterwards. I don't think that there's much I can say about this boy, except that he's very obviously has behavioral issues, and his parents refuse to manage them properly. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. Well, I don't think that the words OP used were as kind as they could have been. There's a little bit of, I have a little bit of problem with the language OP used, but yeah. I think the important thing was shutting this down in the moment. The whole, oh, well, maybe we should have handled this in private. They didn't do this in private. She said, the grandma said to an impressionable young girl, if you don't invite your bully, that would be mean. That is not a good lesson to teach a child. Like, children need to know that their boundaries are respected, and it is not okay for someone else to trample. It doesn't matter if the boy likes her or not.
Yeah.
Like, that is entirely irrelevant. You do not get to, physically assault, taunt, do all these horrible things to another person. If that's your idea of showing affection, you don't deserve to have anyone in your life to give affection to.
Well, I mean, that point in time, you should go into therapy and
Yeah.
work on why you think that physical acts of violence or even emotional acts of violence are a good way of expressing love, right? Now, I kind of am siding with you in this case. I don't think that the words that OP used were the best. And I do agree that insulting people in front of kids shows a bad example. And I think that that really didn't do OP any favors here. They could have probably handled this in a different way and said that, grandma and grandpa, they have very antiquated ways of thinking about things and they aren't right, that you deserve not to be bullied, and inviting your bully to this party is not something that you have to do. And it doesn't matter what he thinks or whether he's hurt by this. He lost his privilege to be your friend when he started bullying you, you know. And I think handling it with less insults probably could have gone a lot longer. And I mean, does OP need to apologize? I think that's up to OP. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Help My Dad Raise the Baby That He Had with My Ex? I can't even believe that I'm typing this out right now, but whatever, here we go. I dated Rena, a 25-year-old female, for about 3 years. We broke up last fall after I found out that she was cheating. She never told me who she was cheating with, just said that it was complicated and that I should move on. So I did. It hurt, but I walked away. Well, fast forward 2 weeks ago, my dad, Rob, a 51-year-old male, asked to meet up. I figured that he wanted to catch up since we hadn't talked much lately. Nope, he sits me down and tells me that he's the one that Rena was cheating with. He's the father of her baby. She gave birth a few months ago, and now they're trying to quote-unquote figure things out and build a future. I sat there completely shocked. This man looked me in the eye and said that he slept with my girlfriend while we were still together, and now he wants me to raise a kid with her. Then he says that he needs help. Financial help, emotional support, whatever. Basically wants me to be involved because the baby is technically my half-sibling. I told him no, and I haven't responded to either of them since. The fallout has been messy. My mother is furious and says that she is divorcing him. My sister moved out of state last year and told me that she's cutting contact with both of them. Some cousins are trying to stay neutral but keep messaging me things like, it's still your sibling and you'll regret not being there someday. I honestly don't care. I don't want anything to do with either of them, and I don't want updates. I don't want photos, and I don't want to pretend like any of this is okay. But part of me wonders if I'm being too cold about it. Am I the jerk for walking away and refusing to be part of this mess? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. I mean, this is just completely inexcusable what the father and ex-girlfriend did.
Yeah.
And this is not in any way, shape, or form OP's responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what this boils down to. I think that OP can comfortably walk away from the situation and not feel any guilt or remorse. I don't think they're being too harsh. Their father betrayed their trust a lot. And if it wasn't bad enough that their partner betrayed their trust, the father betraying that just kind of amplifies this whole situation. And I think that that's really a difficult place for OP to be. And of course, they're not going to want to have contact with their half sibling here, right?
Right. Well, and this is another one of those cases where people like to be like, oh, but family. But this is not any sort of situation that OP chose.
Well, and also, what about family when it came to loyalty to OP?
Well, exactly. Just because someone's your blood, doesn't mean that they are actually family to you. OP's father is a, backstabbing human being. He doesn't have any concern for what this was going to do to OP. And now he's just acting like nothing has happened. Oh, I need you to step up and raise my kid, basically.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of audacity here. Maybe he thought that OP would still be in love with his ex, and that he might be willing to help out in that respect. I don't know, or if maybe they're just looking for someone in a sibling kind of capacity to do certain things, help them run errands and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't really care, quite frankly, and I think that they both deserve to be completely cut out of OP's life.
Yeah, exactly.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Major Ad 2679 says, not the jerk, that's no father. He's a piece of garbage who happened to be your sperm donor. Cut contact with him and your ex. They're despicable people who have no morals. Be there for your mom throughout the divorce. help each other through this difficult time. She's the one who needs support. Support is for the victims, not the perpetrators. Any family member who tries to make you have a relationship with your father's child will have the same low morals as him and your ex. And OP replies, exactly how I feel. My mom didn't ask for any of this, and she's probably the only one that I'm standing by. Everyone else can make their own choices, but I'm not entertaining any guilt trips. And New York City Storyteller says, not the jerk, and I would go no contact with both of them forever. The only one that I would be offering any financial or emotional support to is your mother, by which I would say, let me help you hire the best divorce attorney in town and take him to the cleaners. And OP replies, that's the move. She deserves better, and I'm all in on helping her get through this however I can. And Pumpkin21 says, cut your dad out. Block him, block your ex if you haven't already done this. Block your cousins who aren't grossed out by what your father did. Go and live your life. Be there for your mom and sister. Pretend like they don't exist. You'll be much happier. And OP replies, that's what I've started doing. They've made their choices. Now I'm making mine. I've got better people to spend time on. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What did the block of cheese say to their dinner guest?
Oh, the block of cheese said to their dinner guests, you're another block of cheese because we are cheese together, and we are going to be eating broccoli and cheese. They go together well. They're not going to eat more cheese. They're just going to eat broccoli. And so they said, dine on broccoli with us.
It's good of you to join us.
Yeah, it's good for you to join us, and we're going to eat some broccoli now.
And today is National Cheese Day.
Ooh.
It's also International Corgi Day and National Hug Your Cat Day /month. I think we've already had a Hug Your Cat Day.
I think.
But it was listed on the calendar twice, so.
Yeah. So the important thing is that if you missed the first Hug Your Cat Day, then make sure to get the second one.
Yeah. I feel like we just had one in May.
Yeah, I think there's once a month you need to hug your cat.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as your cat is
amenable
fine,
to hugs.
If your cat is scratching your face off while you're trying to hug them, then reconsider Hug Your Cat Day.
Yeah.
And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy wonderful Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
Abuse isn't love. Don't romanticize. Teach kids healthy boundaries.
I think that works. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.